On this lesson, we're going to animate our person. So what we're going to do here is just find the point where after I said 1 and 7 people, my little characters appear. So it's not only going to be a single person, but actually 7 people. So to do that, all I have to do is duplicate my layer. So I'm just going to select it and press Ctrl D, which is going to make a copy. You can see that now person 2 is there. And I'm going to keep doing this, Ctrl D, Ctrl D, Ctrl D, until I get person 7. Now I'm going to select person 7 and move it to the right. And I'm going to do the same with the other ones, just so that you see that I have the 7 in here. So now that I have them all, that you can see them, what I want to do is actually select them all, go to my aligned panel, and here making sure that I'm aligning to my selection, go here to distribute horizontally. And now you can see that they are quite too close. So I'm going to take the last one, give it a little bit more space, and repeat the same thing. Now I have all my people in here, and I'm just going to center them a little bit. And now that they are there, just nudge them a little bit. And now they are my 7 people. Next, I'm going to go and make sure that my anchor point is on the bottom. Now this is something that I probably should have done, or you should do when you have only one person. I actually forgot about this to see where my anchor point was, because for this motion, what I want to do is that they kind of raw. So they are from very small people to very tall people. And if I leave the anchor point on the middle, when I scale them up, they are going to scale from the belly. So that's not really what I want. So I'm going to go here to my scale and see how I can decrease it. So I'm just adding keyframe and then go around 16 and then around 28, and let's just add the key there. I'm going to decrease the value on that first one. So on this one, I may go to 0. Now the reason why this is happening oddly is because probably my anchor point was not placed on the right position. So this is something that you really have to make sure. So I'm going to go and select my first guy and make sure that you do it on the last keyframe, because if you do as I did here, you're going to see what happens. The guy is going to actually grow into a different position. So that's not what you want. So let's just undo this, position it properly. Now let's go all the way to 0. And again, you see that I made a mistake because the anchor point is not there. So this time I'm going to make really sure that it's right here on the between the legs. And now it should work just fine. That's exactly what I want. Now I want to go a couple of frames before and actually increase this one. Let's say so it's going to be like kind of 105 and then 100. So it's only going to grow and then make kind of a jump. I'm going to select them all and go to my keyframe assistance and go to Easy Ease. You could also use the shortcut F9. You can see that the motion is a little bit better. And you could also play with the graph, but the problem with this is that when you have two graphs that are connected, like the ones that are on the right, you're going to see how now the animation is going to get jumpy. I'm just going to do it so you see. So when you have an animation like that, the best thing that you can do is just undo this. And if you want to try on some graph, work on the first one. The other one, try to leave it as smooth as you can, because that way that jump is not going to be visible. It's going to go smooth. But if you exaggerate it, then it's going to look a lot and it's going to look really odd when you animate it. So now what I want is that the rest of the people follow that first person. So I could just use my Freepik and parent them. But you see that all of them are going from the same position, the same anchor point. And that's really not what I want. I could also just go to the scale and copy it, but that's not really what you should do. You should really make sure that when you create an animation, you can easily change it, because especially if you're working with clients, maybe a client is going to come and tell you, do that slower, do that faster. And if you make a habit of make everything like this, then it's going to go just fine. So just press Alt and Shift on the scale and use the Freepik, and then just typing here the same expression. I'm just copying and pasting, just like that. And as you can see that they are following, but they are doing it at the exact same time, and that's not really what I want. So I'm going to use a very simple expression. I know it may sound crazy, but it's very simple. So just type dot value at time. Make sure that the A and the T are capital ones, and then between the brackets you're going to type your time. So on the time you're going to decide if you want to add or subtract. So right here I'm just going to subtract a little bit, or you're going to see how that is appearing a little bit after, because I am going to 0.08. I'm going to type that value at time expression to all of them, and now you're going to see that they are going to appear after the first animation. So all I can do is just simply go here and change the numbers. So let's go there and type 1. And you can play with this, so maybe 0.1. Let's see how that works. You can see that this is taking longer. So typing this number is something you really have to watch out, because if you don't do it, then you're going to see that the rest of them appear. For example, here 3 of them are fine, but then the rest of them are taking too much time. And the reason for that is I went a little bit bigger with that. Instead of being 0.1, that one should have been different. So let's just go to 0.1, and here's something like 0.2, something like 0.3. So instead of being 1, because that's taking a whole second, just go something like this. So here just go and change the number to 4, and now let's see it. Actually here I'm missing a bracket, that's why it's looking different. And now you can see how they appear after the first one. And if I go and press Alt on this last keyframe and extend it, you can see how now the animation takes longer, and all of the people just animate as well, because they are following the first one. So this is why you should do it like this, because you can see that if I want to make a change, it's super simple. Now I want to make that first person different, so I'm just going to go into my effects and find a fill. Since this is a shape, you could also just change the color, but let's assume that sometimes you don't have that option. So let's just use the fill effect, and let's just select this red that we were using in Illustrator. So let me just go in here into my effect and sample that red. So now you can see that that person is special and is representing the 1 in 7 people. So the next lesson, we're going to keep working on our animation.